All right, let us discuss the Hugos. I have a list. I have thoughts. It's really just fine. It really just confirms that last year wasn't like an amazing reading year in terms of new releases. But we're gonna get into it. First, if you're new, this is just the first awards video you've seen from me. I've been doing some Hugo coverage for a few years, and an important thing to know about the Hugos is you get to vote in it if you want to. If you want to spend $50, you get the right to nominate and vote, although nomination for this year are now closed because I have a finalist list. But also, not only do you get to vote, they send out a reading packet, and the reading packet includes many, many works. And especially in this day and age, $50. Usually at a bookstore, you can buy 2.5 books, and now you get at least 10 books worth of stuff in that packet. So it can kind of be worth it, but that is also to say that this is just a pay-to-play popularity contest. There is a group of 1,700-ish individuals, and the group of individuals does shift through the years, that decides they want to support Worldcon or go to Worldcon and nominate and vote for the Hugos. All right, so there is a certain demographic of individuals here. It's relatively constant, can change, but at its core, there's no rubric. It just has to have been released and have a certain word count, and here we are. So yeah, it's an interesting view, and it's fun to compare to the nebulas, and we're gonna actually do that because I already have my nebula video, but I also pulled up because there is some interesting overlap. But let's start first with the Astounding Award for Best New Writer. We have Monique Will Blackgoose, who wrote To Shape a Dragon's Breath, which is like one of those, is it young adult, is it adult, Del Rey books, but I hear it's a very fun book. We have Bethany Jacobs, who's been writing this trilogy for Orbit, this sci-fi trilogy that I've heard very good things about that I haven't read myself. We have Hannah Kaner, who's been writing that beautiful trilogy. It's like got Faithbreaker in it. Is that the newest one? I don't think that's the name of the series. But you know what I'm talking about. It's like those really pretty covers. Angela Liu, I don't know what she's written. I know like there is a category for poems this year, and I think she has a poem for that. And we have Jared Pachasik, I think that's how you say it, and he has The West Passage. It's on my shelf. That's why I looked at it real quick. That came out last summer. And then we have Tia Tashiro, and when I was looking up this name, I only saw Clark's World. And so for Astounding Author, it's not about your first novel, it's your first published work. So you're only eligible for the first 2 years you've been publishing. So this is why this category can be a little weird, because sometimes people might have been writing short stories for years, but it's not very popular to write short stories. The average person doesn't know who's writing new short stories. So by the time they maybe choose to write a novel, kind of goes under the radar, or like people be like, oh, I want to nominate them. It's like, well, they're not eligible. So it can be a little weird. And then we have the Lodestar Award, which is probably this year one of the better crafted categories. Normally in the past, we have had some, why is this adult book in the young adult section? Because again, I do not know why the 1,700 individuals who nominate for this, or the people who are in charge of the business meetings, think that us adults are at all qualified to say what is the best young adult, because, first of all, we have 1,700 people nominating this year. That was how many ballots there were. Only 268 of those ballots chose to do this at all for the young adult list. We are not the people for deciding this, but that's fine. There were 175 nominees, and there were about 18 to 52 votes per the finalists, so it's a range. But they're all young adult books, and a lot of them are books that like I'd be interested in. I don't know the Feastmakers, but Heavenly Tyrant is the sequel, and Sharon J. Zhao's series that starts with Iron Widow, which I've always heard good things about. The Maid and the Crocodile, I don't know, but Jordan Ifueko has had a young adult duology people really enjoyed. Moonstorm by Yoon Ha Lee, I don't know if I'd pick up just because I like when Yoon Ha Lee is adult and weird, and you just can't be as weird as Yoon Ha Lee is in the adult space, in the young adult space, and if you've read, you know what I'm talking about. We have a new Darcy Little Badger, which I do need to read more Darcy Little Badger. And then we have So Let Them Burn, which has a very pretty cover. So that's a very good list. But again, it's one of those things where I do not know why this is a category for us, because in the past we're really bad at it. But this year at least, these are all young adult books. Go us. This is, for this con, every year they have a category that doesn't have to hold, and they did poems. I do not know any of these poems. Most of them are in magazines. Like I said, Angela Liu for Astounding Authors here. We do have a Mary Brennan poem, but I don't recognize anybody else. And only 219 ballads considered poems. I'm going to pass over fan artist and fan writer, not because they're not important, but because I have no opinions. I do not know who these people are. I do not know what art they put together. I kind of do always wish for these lists that, like, maybe for, like, the art stuff, they, like, give me just, like, a little PDF link to go see, like, the art just for, like, a second. But I think at least people with the packets, the voter packets, they might get it, so at least it's useful for people voting. For me, just as, like, a fly on the wall. I just don't know what the art looks like. Fancast is podcasts. I don't recognize a lot of these. 2 of them are Hugo's related, which makes sense that Hugo voters might listen to Hugo podcasts and nominate them. I don't think any of them are not podcasts. Technically, YouTube stuff can count for this, but I don't think any of these are YouTube. Like, for example, technically my channel is eligible, but it's okay that it's not here. It's just one of those things where, like, Fancast is a very broad category that tends to be primarily for podcasts. And then we have fanzines, and I think fanzines are, like, they aren't supposed to make a profit, maybe? I don't really actually know the difference between a fanzine and a semi-prozine, other than I think one makes more money and is more of a business and one's more of a hobby? Maybe? I might not be saying that right. I don't recognize any of the fanzines. In terms of the semi-prozines, it is our usual suspects. The one that I don't recognize is the Deadlands, so I'm curious about that. If anyone knows what they specialize in, let me know. But we've got Escape Pod, Faya. Faya is one that I've actually gotten a couple times and is very good. Choreo is actually a really good one. I think it's a translated one, which is very good. Strange Horizons, Uncanny Magazine. Uncanny usually wins, unless maybe all the voters decides to rebel against it. Like, Clark's World would be here, but they basically have won enough times that they, I think, don't let themselves be on the short list, because you can decline a nomination. This is an important idea. One can decline. There are some awards where you cannot. In this one, you can. And sometimes people choose to, and sometimes people don't. Hold on to that thought. It's going to come back. It's going to come back to us. Again, we have professional artists. I don't know what their art is. I'm sure it's really pretty. But I don't know what it looks like. So we're going to move on. We have editors. Funnily enough, I actually do know editors a little bit, because I used to nominate for this, and it's a lot of work nominating for editors, because you have to find, like, 3 unique works that came out that year, and in books, they never, like, clearly tell you who the editor is, so you have to go to the acknowledgments and hope that that author acknowledged their editor. It's a really dumb way of crediting people for a lot of work, because we all know editors are incredibly important. But this year, I actually don't think I know any of the names, so that's kind of fun. For the editor short form, the only name I recognize is Neil Clark. I think he's normally with Faya. Maybe I'm making that up. Sometimes he does short story collections or anthologies. We have best game or interactive work, and it's cute that they say interactive work as if a board game will ever. But it's fine. It's usually video games. And the 2 video games that I know of, one is Dragon Age Veilguard, and if that one doesn't win, then I am just in a bubble where I just assume everyone who votes for the Hugos loves Dragon Age, because that's what I see in my Discord. And then there's The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, which I think I saw Ryan playing this year. It looked fine, kind of cutesy. I don't know if it was actually, like, a cute game, but it looked cute. But I know looks can be deceiving. Also, if you just heard something fall, it's because something did, and I don't know what it is, and we're going to ignore it. Okay, so best dramatic presentation, short forms. These are usually episodes and things like that. And there is a rule that if, like, you're nominated for, like, short form and long form, you're only in one of them, but I don't know which, and I don't think that really matters this year. So we have 2 Doctor Who episodes. One is Dot and Bubble, which is kind of the Black Mirror episode where everyone communicates kind of on social media with each other and they never leave their bubble, but something's happening outside the bubble. But then there is kind of this, like, unsurprising, surprising reveal that I think floored everyone. I don't know. It's a little on the nose to me. It is sad. I'm not mad that they did it. It is weird that it's even on the Nebula list. Like, people are very into this episode, and I'm just like, I don't know how I feel about it. The other one, though, 73 Yards, that's a haunting one. That's a weird episode. I like it. I like when Doctor Who does horror, like, a lot. And 73 Yards is, like, psychological horror. It's real good. There's 2 Lower Deck episodes. I don't watch Lower Deck. I think maybe this year was its series finale. And we have Agatha All Along, Death's Hand in Mind. That was such a fun show. Like, that was such a fun show. So that's cool that that's here. And then there's Fallout. It's called The Beginning. I'm going to guess that's the pilot. I still need to watch that show. Haven't watched it. And then we've got long form, which actually gets 200 more votes than short form, which is interesting to me. But I guess maybe more people watch movies than they do TV shows. So what I'm guessing is going to win is Dune Part 2, which was good. I think it was a better version than the second part of that book. I just don't think I'm like that into Dune, but like it's good. The next one, I don't know if any of these actually have a chance, but I actually like this slate. Like a lot of these are on my to watch or I have watched. So I have watched Wicked, very nice film. I have some issues with how they paced some of the songs, but like it's a nice film. And I've seen Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, which is good, not as good as Mad Max Fury Road. And I think they did a disservice putting Mad Max Fury Road in the credits because it just made me realize, oh yeah, Mad Max Fury Road is better. Like, it's not bad. They're different stories. Mad Max Fury Road was a level of immersion I have rarely experienced in my life. And so then we have some animated. I think both Flo and The Wild Robot are animated. Am I making that up? I feel like Flo is animated. And The Wild Robot looks so cute, and I would like to see it. And then the one that's really high on my watch list, and it was also on the Nebula list, was I Saw the TV Glow, which is, I think, nostalgia horror type of stuff. And I'm just like, I really want to watch it. I've been wanting to watch a lot of horror lately. Like, in theaters right now, we've got The Death of a Unicorn and Sinners, and, like, I want to see those things. That's where I'm at. So, next up, we've got related work. And I actually normally recognize nothing in this category. But guys, the r/Reddit fantasy bingo made it. And that just brings me a lot of joy. Like, look at it. This little Reddit bingo that could. And like, I honestly, I think it's deserving. So anyways, I don't recognize anything else. There is the spectacular failure of the Star Wars Hotel. No, I watched that. Never mind. 2 things. That 4-hour YouTube video on the spectacular failure of the Star Wars Hotel. I watched that. It was fascinating. What a high-cost, low-budget effort situation there. And then I don't think I recognize anything else, do I? Oh, no. Huh. The more you know. Just sometimes you should just read. The 2023 Hugo Awards, a report on censorship and exclusion, which a lot of us made videos reacting to this report. And then there's another part of it that was like statistics. But when I did my recap of the Hugo's drama, it was based off of this. So, fascinating. Huh, I usually know nothing in this category. I didn't even look that deep. Oh, there is the statistics chart. I am just eating my own words. The statistics chart is number 1, and then the 5th one is the one that's just the report, and then we have r/fantasy bingo, and then we have the spectacular fail of the Star Wars Hotel. And the other 2, I am fairly certain, I don't know. One is Speculative Whiteness, Science Fiction and the Alt-Right by Jordan S. Carroll. I don't know that. And now we have Track Changes by Abigail Nussbaum, and I don't know that. Wild that I know 4 of these. Fascinating. But I think they are representative, like, if I've consumed them, and I don't really try to find related works. I don't know graphic stories or comics, and I'm really not kidding this time. I just don't. Like, I know of Monstrous. I know of Star Trek Lower Deck. This is it. This is just not it's not where I live. I like when things move, when there are pictures. I need my pictures to move. All right, so now we're in Best Series, which is probably my personal joy. I'm so happy about it because I have been shouting to the hills that this is eligible. Read it and nominate it. And that is The Burning Kingdoms by Tasha Suri. It's here, and it brings me so much joy. It finished last year, and it was super solid. We also have Between Earth and Sky by Rebecca Roanhorse. I have no sense if this actually stuck the landing or not because I only read the first book. We have a Shauna Maguire Encrypted series, which I think is an urban fantasy that just kind of keeps going and going and going. We have Southern Reach with the new Jeff Vandermeer. And then we've got the Stormlight Archive, which makes sense because, like, in general, Hugo voters are not as big a fan of Sanderson as, like, the public. But the series tend to make it on Best Series list. Because it's a little harder to put things on Best Series, I feel. So when people are filling out their ballot, they're more likely to be like, yeah, it's not worth Best Novel, but it's worth Best Series sort of thing. Like, there's a different standard, I feel, maybe, for voters. Because, like, The Lost Metal also ended up on Best Series way back. And then we have The Tyrant Philosophers by Adrian Tchaikovsky. This is the Cities books. Like, they're the fantasy books that he's been coming out with, that trilogy. I am blanking on the name, but I'm sure the red cover thing that I've put here has sparked something in you. That will not be the last time we see Adrian Tchaikovsky's name in this video. Spoiler alert. All right, so the most exciting sections for both Nebula and Hugo that I really do need to just spend time when I have free time, whenever that is, are the short stories and novelettes, because they all, I've been told, are really cool by people in my Discord who read them, and I think there's a little bit of overlap. Most of them are from Uncanny Magazine and Lightspeed Magazine and Clark's World for here. I recognize some authors like Mary Robinette Kowell, Nevo, Arcady Martine, and then I have some new to me authors. And I don't know if there's overlap with the Nebula. Let me look real quick. I think the Isabel J. Kim might be an overlap. So there's an Isabel J. Kim called Why Don't We Just Kill the Kid in the Omelas Hole, which is a really funny title because it's definitely in conversation with Ursula K. Le Guin's Omelas story. So that kind of makes sense. That's in both. And then I don't think, there might be one other overlap. Yes, Carolyn M. Yochim, We Will Teach You How to Read. We Will Teach You How to Read. Ooh, that's interesting. So I really want to read the short stories. I'm so out of the loop. I don't know what should win, but I'm fascinated by them. I don't think Rachel K. Jones was in both. Let me just look real quick, make sure. Oh no, she is. 5 Views of the Planet Tartarus. Which, why do I know the name Tartarus? I don't know why. But regardless, there's some overlap, and that makes me excited. Similarly, for novelette, I know Primi Mohammed, I know Naomi Kritzer, I know Ann Leckie, I know Sarah Pinsker. There's a lot of Clark's World, Strange Horizons, Asimov. One's from, in Lake of Souls by Orbit, so I think that's just, an anthology. Uncanny Magazine shows up. And so what is some overlap with the novelettes of the Nebula? Because here's the thing. I realistically don't have all the time in the world to read all of these, so I should, try and, highlight the ones that there is overlap for. And it's looking like there's, no overlap, maybe. Oh, there's a Thomas Ha. He's an overlap for both. So the Brotherhood of Montague St. Video. And then there is an overlap with, I think, Eugenia. Her Loneliness Universe. But there's a second one in the Nebulas called Joanna's Bodies. Ooh, interesting. Oh, and then Angela Liu, who I was talking about, who is outstanding author, didn't get Best Novelette for Hugo's, but did for the Nebula. So, and I'm a sucker for someone with the name Angela. Yeah. So, that's just, a fascinating, fun time. We'll see what happens. Novella. So, alas, we are all Tor.com. I mean, Nightfire is just Tor.com, so it's just the horror side of Tor.com. But I do think in terms of genre, we have a good spread here. We have The Brides of High Hill by Nevo. We've got The Butcher of the Forest by Primi Mohammed. We have Navigational Entanglements by Elliot de Bodard. We have The Practice, the Horizon, and the Chain, which is also a Nebula one. We have The Tusks of Extinction, which is also a Nebula one. And then we have What Feasts at Night by T. Kingfisher, which is just here. So there's some, fun overlap. I think The Butcher of the Forest is also a Nebula one. Let me just double check. But yes. So, some nice overlap there. Not a lot of diversity in imprint, but I do think a diversity in genre, at least. We got some hard sci-fi, we got some horror, we got some literary, we got some just fantasy. So there's at least that going on. And now the reason why you clicked on this video. My opinions on best novel. I always hope that there'll be a hidden gem. And maybe there is. Maybe there is. I've read 3. I've read 2 of these, and I have one that's on my immediate TBR. I guess elephant in the room, we have 2 Adrian Tchaikovsky. Again, you can say, I don't want this nomination. I'm not saying say no to both. Just pick one. Pick the one that had the most votes, or pick the one you're more proud of as an author. You don't need to take 2 of the 6 slots for the Hugos. It's just, I don't know, it's just grubby. I don't know, it just feels grubby. I don't like it. Obviously you should get to do what you want to do, but there is, a precedence for bowing out. And maybe you should have for one of the books. One is Alien Clay, which does, I guess I should at least read the first chapters and see if they grip me, but it's not even that interesting of a premise to me. It's someone spoke up against the government and they exiled them to this alien planet. Cool. Super unique. Super original. And he does do some interesting things, but I've read 2 works by him, and I don't really think they're that amazing. They're not bad. They're just not that amazing. They're solid 4-star reads. They're fine. And I think that's what this list is. Solid 4-star reads. Which you just kind of hope for more. You hope for innovative. You hope for, oh, this is so weird but perfect. And I don't think that's what this list is. So we have Alien Clay and we have Service Model, which was on the Goodreads Choice Awards. I think that's a robot-y book, I think, by Adrian Tchaikovsky. We have The Ministry of Time, which is a book whose TV show got greenlit before the book came out. That's how, like, popular zeitgeisty that one is. And then there are no plagiarisms with this book, but even before the book came out, the Spanish channel in Spain was, like, side-eyeing the BBC for a show with the exact same title and very similar premise to their show, but it's just a lot of similarity and just tropes. It's not the same thing. It was a book written completely separately. I have no interest in the book. It felt like just general fiction with a sci-fi twist, so I guess I'll find out if I'm wrong about that, because I have no issues with that as, you know, as art existing. It's just not my thing. We have Someone You Can Build a Nest In, which is on the Nebula, and it's a monster romance, and the monsters are very cool. It physiologically consumes stuff and then can change its body based off the stuff it consumes. It seems fun. It's, like I said, on my immediate TBR. And then the other two I've read, Sources Comes to Call. T. Kingfisher is a darling for Nebulas and Hugo's. She's a great person. She writes engaging stories. People like to be engaged in stories. For some people, maybe this is a 5-star read. For me, it's like more of a 4, 4.5. It's fun. It's not easy to do what she does so consistently, so I try to keep that in mind. But it's also like, it's a great book. Is it an award-winning book? I don't think so. But she's really funny giving award speeches. Like, so I guess if this is a list of duds, which it's not, I think Someone You Can Build a Nest In could be very fun. But in general, it's like, what is this? And then the last one I actually do think is fascinating world building. And I think it's actually probably really good for some people, especially the Hugo crowd, because the Hugo crowd likes mysteries more than I do, in my experience. And this is The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett. I actually am about to read A Drop of Corruption, the sequel, very soon. And this is a world with leviathans, which are like Pacific Rim level monsters, and we have these walls to keep them out, but they sometimes will crumble, and it's wet and it's gross, and there's these plants and fungi that people interact with to enhance their bodies, which is also just weird biology stuff. And our main character is the Watson to a different character's neurotic Holmes, and he has perfect recall. He doesn't interpret the recall that often. He basically gives the details to the Holmes character, who deduces. And I think, like, for me, the only issue is that it is a homage to Sherlock Holmes stories, which, sure, that's a great thing to be a homage to. I don't like detective stories. Therefore, it being such a good representation of that form in this bananas cool world was a 4-star experience for me, you know? So, you know, I think the bottom half of the list, so Someone You Can Build a Nest In, Sources Comes to Call, and Tainted Cup are stronger for me. I don't think I'm going to find much joy in the front part that I haven't read, Alien Clay, Service Model, or Ministry of Time. So there are, like, things that are cool. Like, the novelette short story section is cool. The young adult section is cool. The novella section is fine, just a little one publisher heavy. The novels are boring. Like, it's just boring. Which I guess last year maybe was boring. If I had a book from last year that I would love on this list, actually I'd have 2 that I think are just at least interesting. Ocean's Gadori, I read that recently. It's a sci-fi from last year. I just love it. I don't know if it's award winning. I just personally, like, that's like, ooh, I love this book. One that, like, I didn't love, but I think is just novel and unique is The Emperor in the Endless Palace. I just think that one's just fascinating. I think it's just different. But, you know, that, like, if I had to think of new releases from last year that I would maybe have liked to see. Also, no Angel of Indian Lake in the series section. I know this isn't a horror list, but, like, that was a very good trilogy. That was like maybe my favorite series ending of last year. I can't remember. I know I made a video about it. Can't remember. Anyways, what did you think of this list? Let me know in the comments down below, or you can come complain in my Discord with everyone else. And if you just want to leave an emoji to let me know you're here, leave a rocket ship, because it's the Hugos. And otherwise, like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.